Hello everyone, I'm Billy. This time I'm here to introduce to you a Tamiya XR311 military remote control car, whoa, that I just bought recently. Why am I talking about this car? Although it has been reissued for quite some time. My brother recently decided to buy it. As for the price, let me tell you. I have to mention the price back in 1977. Which was 13,000 yen. Now this version, which was released around September 2000, was sold for 20,800 yen. If you convert it back to yen, it's actually not even double the original price, considering inflation. But if we calculate it, 22,800 yen converted to Hong Kong dollars should be around 1,200 HKD, assuming an exchange rate of 5. However, I managed to buy it today for just 800 HKD, which is quite a bargain. The most special thing about this flyer is that it mentions this is a reissued version. It's almost identical to the original, no? Which really piqued my interest, no? Back then, my dad and I used to play with these static models and military models a lot. Remote control cars were quite expensive, so we might not have been able to buy them. This version is from that time, and then why I'm saying right. It was one of the stepping stones for enthusiasts entering the world of remote control. From static models at the time, they moved towards remote control models. Many fans back then also bought this car. I also looked through some photos. And actually, this car is indeed based on a real circular car. However, it seems that it was never mass-produced or used for military purposes, with only 1 or 2 units made. If you're interested, you can check it out yourself. I don't have much patience for it now. Let's unbox it together. So I asked the shop owner if they sell just the shell, and they said no. No. Even if there were shells available, they would be very expensive. So the most valuable part of the whole package is the car shell itself, which includes a lot of things with this shell. Then there's the position of the seat under the shell. The tires are about the size of a 110 scale, but actually they say this car is 112 scale. However, the wheelbase, meaning the distance between the front and rear axles, is 260 mm, which is even longer than our current 110 scale remote control cars, which are only 257 mm. There are a lot of plastic parts here, really like a model. Even the person looks like a real human. So, does this look more like a 112 scale or more like a 110 scale? You can make a comparison. There are a lot of assembly parts. So if you like static models, you might really enjoy this. I personally like it a lot. For its 2 wheels, or rather 4 wheels, you need to assemble the link yourself. There are also some small screws that are quite secure, unlike typical remote control cars. If you think it's a rough, durable remote control car, you should definitely not think that way. You should be very careful with it. There are many connections, and this seems to be a gearbox, a plastic gearbox. Well, Double Star is very concerned about the safety of its customers. So this entire sheet is about what to pay attention to, like not treating this as a toy, being careful when using certain tool and so on. So if you're a parent building models with your child, it's also a good opportunity to teach them some language skills. The glass windows are made of transparent soft material, which is actually transparent hardware, and it's quite detailed. This, well, hammers one. It might be an object for a net, possibly hanging at the back of a car. The water decal is not an ordinary sticker. It really requires water to use. What is this piece? I don't know. Not sure for now. There are antenna tubes, like the ones from a long time ago. What is this sheet? Oh, this sheet. It's about how to cut those net-like objects, which are indeed a major part of the car. There should be curves on the left and right here. Oh yes, there are. The copper cup market probably doesn't have a beer ring. This is the base frame. It should be somewhat metallic. It's a four-wheeled metallic one immediately. So what is this box? Because there are many parts. There was a pump a long time ago. The soft rubber pump. These bumpers. I remember when I was little, the F2 twin remote control cars had remote power. So the springs should be shock absorbing springs. Screws. Hey, are these the parts for assembling the chassis? All metal, but the ones produced are not CNC. Definitely a lot of metal parts. Everything is assembled. With screws, it should be quite heavy. The few boxes I picked up earlier were very heavy. They included a 540 motor, which is quite considerate, and those gears. What else is there? Oh, a larger socket, which usually comes with every remote control car. So let's see what's underneath here. It's all plastic parts. This should be the steering knuckle. And the parts that hold the wheels in place, you should be able to replace them with bearings. Those are bushings. And they should be standard size. So I put it back together actually. It seems like this box has never been opened by anyone other than me. That's the whole thing. Back then, after tuning, it was rare for remote control cars to have a dual arm design. So this car was quite unique at the time. However, at that time, using metal for the chassis was quite common. You can see here that the structure and the screws are quite long. So when assembled, it should be quite heavy. Once again, it shows that this was a product from 1977. And it also had a similar type of servo saver. This servo saver doesn't have a spring in the middle, so if it was forced to bite, it would mean the servo or tape would likely be worn out. So due to its authenticity, it continuously operates without a differential part. And the motor is positioned directly above the group at a 90-degree angle. So it has a bevel gear, and there's a helical gear that drives the shaft, which is located below. Since it's continuous and not differential, I'm quite sure that all four wheels are the same, usually pushing forward. It has a lot of reduction gears with a large spur gear followed by a smaller gear, and this smaller gear then drives a helical gear. This then goes back into the shaft. Now, I believe the most fragile part is it not using some hydraulic, or some that is. Instead of the commonly used damper, it uses something similar to an iris, a straight piece of metal. To move things, it acts as a shock absorber, which is a very special design. I believe that whether it's Twin Star or other brands, these are quite rare. Now, I need to add that the shock absorber component I mentioned earlier is a torsion bar. These two are a torsion box. There is tension at the front, and there are two torsion bars at the back. The elasticity of each bar comes from this metal. You can see the rectangular metal here. How much can you bend it? It gives back a certain amount of elasticity to help with the shock absorption of this vehicle. I don't see any oily parts, so the car should bounce a bit as it moves. This means it has elasticity, but it doesn't have hydraulic capabilities. The younger generation might not have seen this type of lever anymore, this type of lever. Huh? It's quite primitive. And it doesn't have a connection pointer, so it might damage the server if your server isn't that strong. You definitely can't crash it. For now, I don't see any automatic transmission in these cars, meaning you have to use an electronic transmission. Of course, this car doesn't come with it. So how do you adjust the hydraulic pressure? It turns out that it uses a rotating part to change the angle of the torsion bar. At this end, the position of this head is slightly slanted, which allows you to adjust the car's height. So if you find that after making adjustments, the left side is higher and the right side is lower, or the front is higher and the back is lower, you need to use the torsion bar adjustment. This serves as a way to fine-tune it. Turning it clockwise will make it looser, and counterclockwise will make it tighter, but actually it should only affect the height of the car. Oh, so that piece is from Nexon and it's not made of plastic? Yes, but it's very important for it to be soft and flexible, and it serves as protection for the underside of the car. It's just equipment to protect the car's underside so that the gravel below won't damage the car's structure. The manual has a lot of sections teaching you how to properly assemble the car body. For those who enjoy building models, this part should be the most exciting. However, for people who like playing with remote control cars, they might find this part the most time-consuming and the least desirable to do. With so many seats, you can take your time spraying and assembling. An $800 model of this size, for static model enthusiasts, it should be a great value, because if you buy a static model, it would probably be quite expensive, but now it's not that much money. You can see that most of the remote controlled cars for filling the palace, probably just as good. The instruction menu also has such a good manual, which includes guidance for children or young people to use their remote controlled cars carefully and not to treat them as toys. And also not to hurt others or yourself. What about these other remote controlled cars? Except for those slightly closer to commercial use, all other remote controlled cars won't pay attention to you or care about these things. So many things are like a piece of art. Look at this cover, it's quite beautiful. So on the box it says, hey, it's almost identical to the previous model, so what's different about it? Now that I look closely, it should be this variable speed control. As for the previous variable speed control, I don't even know if it had stages. There used to be something called 3-stage speed control, but for this one, I'm not sure if it's definitely like that because they didn't provide all that information. It's just that you probably can't replicate it. It's these kinds of servers and these kinds of wires, unless you buy some really old negative AB or those 3-cap ones. Another difference I noticed is that back then it could use batteries. You can see it should be, say, 4 medium batteries, though I'm not sure if they're medium or large batteries. I'm not very certain about that. But now, of course, that's not possible. So what they mean by almost identical might be these two parts. There are differences. Now the structure of this gearbox, it's like this, and the motor is right above the main shaft, rear wheel drive. A straight shaft means there's no differential, right? Well, the remote control cars used for competitions can cost several $1,000s, plus the remote controllers and everything else. It can be quite expensive. But this one is only 800 Hong Kong dollars, and you can get it directly without waiting, tracking, or shipping. Everyone can. Oh, think about it.